Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com. This is Texas Podcast Massacre.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, are my fellow heathens. Nate?
You have no idea what monstrosity grows inside you.
Jesus, I don't. That's not
that
good.
That was one of the tamer quotes from this movie.
I need to go to a doctor. And Lisa.
Not the bees. Oh, wait. Is that the wrong movie?
Wrong movie.
Wrong.
I just wanted to get back in the cage.
That was probably the biggest diss to Dan Stevens that's ever existed.
Dan Stevens is the only reason I watched this movie.
All right. Well, there you go. And yet, the Nick Cage comparison. Wow.
Not him. It's the overall.
That's high praise.
It's low praise. It's low praise.
Depends on what perspective you're
overall movie.
Well, welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror movie and we discuss a horror-related topic with our unsuspecting victim, who is usually not what we would call a horror fan. This week, we try to avoid paying taxes. We hop over onto an island and we review Apostle, Netflix's latest film starring Dan Stevens. Lisa, you will be, as goddess of the unsuspecting victims, we will be praying to you for a good harvest.
Well, I was
going
to say, following the logic of this movie, we technically kidnapped Lisa. This episode.
That sounds about right.
This episode.
Semantics.
What this episode? This podcast.
Semantics. She came over as a traitor and a spy to the crown.
Did you like watching Dan Stevens in this movie?
Yes.
Oh, well, it seems like a 50-50 kidnapping. Is that a thing?
The only reason Mitch is like, Nate said we have to watch Apostle. I said, oh yeah? Well, why? I'm not going to watch it. He goes, well, Dan Stevens is in it. I guess I'll watch it.
I mean,
I guess so.
That's just looking at the bright side of life. More than 50-50 booking here.
No one said he saved the movie for me.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I sat there.
He got you in the door.
10 hours.
He got you on the boat. And that's the crucial part.
Oh my God. Yeah. So this week we're going to get into that. Before we begin, we do have sort of a little, not a PSA, but something we wanted to kind of bring up. A good friend of the show, Unsuspecting Victim Tom, is... Yeah,
all-star. I would say all-star Unsuspecting Victim.
He has put up a lot of crap.
You might remember
he's been your personal unsuspecting victim for long before we had a show. He's one of the inspirations for the show.
Yeah, I mean, going all the way back to seeing Cabin Fever in the movie theater and then him punching me because he hated it so much. That's how far back
he's lived the dream of punching you.
Exactly.
So if you can say
you might remember him from episodes Jason X, Leprechaun 4, Witch. That's a better one.
Yeah.
The Nun recently last month. He's having some medical issues right now, and so we're gonna link the GoFundMe for that on our show notes and on Twitter. But if you want to tweet at us, we can relay good wishes and hope he gets better soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please even if you can't, or not really to donate, if you can share out the link, help us out. That we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you can handle Leprechaun 4 and Jason X,
I think it's
chances
important.
are he'll be able to come back.
And we're obviously being respectful of his privacy and all that. For what it is, you can find more on the GoFundMe. I want to at least assure you, it's not because we forced him to watch The Nun or any of these horrible movies.
I'm assuming
our lawyers want us to make sure we are very clear on that.
And I guess his
point.
first episode was Children of the Corn. And he's very Malachi-esque. I don't know if that probably has nothing to do with it either. I'm going to assume.
No, he had a great Malachi. He really...
Yeah, he really identified with the character of Malachi.
Something about the ginger spirit in all of us allows us to just channel
That's
that.
a perfect segue into this movie because there's basically a Malachi in this movie.
Yeah. So without further ado, I do have a question for the both of y'all.
We will see how the Lord favors you.
No, you dare not blaspheme. He will punish you. The jaws of hell will devour you. All of you. No!
Wow, perfect drop. perfect.
I
drop.
somehow forgot that is our drop, even though we do that every week.
Oh,
but
you forgot? You forgot we've been listening to that drop for months?
somehow, yeah. Lisa proposed a different drop from
and it made it into one episode.
I don't even think it made it into one episode. Did I even play it? I think I hit the wrong button, and we just said. I think I just said I'll fix it in post, and I did not fix it in post.
That's crazy. That
No one
perfect.
checks these episodes after I'm done with
That
them.
scenario happens in this movie.
I'm going on strike.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, so we will be looking at a new drop. If you have some suggestions for Lisa, she
For a
does have
debate drop.
She does have a hashtag Team Lisa going on out there.
Yes,
So,
please.
Yeah, let her know. Give her some suggestions besides Devil's Rejects.
You
It was very aggressive. The one I thought it was a not so subtle comment to both of us, Nate, more than it was just a drop to put like a lighthearted one.
Yeah, it was more like this is serious.
It's more like I'm gonna kill you both if you keep making me watch this shit.
This movie didn't help.
Yeah, no.
If anything, you seem too tired to fight back at this point.
I think that this movie made my flu worse instead of better.
Yeah.
You got your blood boiling.
Literally, I'm literally drained.
All right, so let me ask you. So in this movie, really the premise for why they started this cult was to effectively escape taxes and to worship their own.
The man,
Tyranny of England.
The man's keeping us down from making everyone give a pint of blood every night in a cup outside their door. What?
Which you'd think by now, England would just stop taxing the hell out of people. I mean, it's clearly not where the empire would still be fully bound. That's why we got
the
out
thing
of it.
about it though is that they clearly have representation though, because they're in the UK. They can literally represent it because that's where they're from. So
yeah,
it's a little bit different.
I mean,
hold on. Are you saying George Washington, the real reason that he wanted to break away is because he wanted to get blood from a lot of people? Is that what you're telling me?
Well,
Why do you think that cherry tree bloomed?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Save
y'all are hitting on my
prequel.
Y'all are hitting on my prequels. Yeah, not cool. So my question is, how far would you both go to avoid taxes? We are in a red state, so traditionally
It's purpley.
well, it's blood red. Yeah, it's purpley. So yeah, how far would you both go to avoid taxes? Would you join a cult? Would you run off to a random island in Wales, a Welsh island?
I like paying taxes, and I think they're fine. End of debate for me.
You're okay with?
They come by, they're like, "Oh, there's these taxes." I'm like, "That sounds great. Thanks for the public services."
Yeah.
I'm gonna not steal people's blood.
Well, you're not technically stealing it. I mean, they're people are giving it.
I'm
to
not
you freely.
soliciting people's blood. There you go.
I mean,
A little blood.
Blood or taxes? What? I mean, you got to give something.
I'm giving the taxes. The
You'd
blood.
rather give the
Keep your
coin.
blood. I'll do the taxes. That's
how
the balance for me.
1% of you. I'll give them all this excess money I have. Keep all my blood to myself.
I'd rather give
A lot of people could use that blood, Nate. I mean, there
a
are
lot of specific.
There are blood hungry people
A specific
out.
person could use my blood or thing. I guess.
I mean, a lot of people. I don't know if you have gutter blood or
gutter blood.
Yeah, like the one that's 1 in 3. It's like everyone has it. That's what I have.
That sounds ominously.
Like everyone can just have my blood.
That sounds ominously prejudiced. I'm not sure how, but it sounds bad.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You got trash blood.
But that's what I have it. So I can say it because I have it.
You're saying I have. You're saying I have
You
trash
I can make
blood.
that joke.
No, what blood do you have?
Yeah, what
blood
what's your blood type?
The blood.
Maybe Nate doesn't want that out in the universe.
No.
Yeah.
But it's not like some we can't learn your personality from it.
I think I'm
okay?
O positive.
O
negative. I'm one of the O's.
Okay.
Cool.
Wow.
So I guess I lose this one, and I'll bow out gracefully.
All right.
Yeah. Lisa, what are you gonna do to avoid those taxes?
Okay, hold on. I guess if I was gonna do that, I'd do the same cult, but on the Cayman Islands. Is that? How about that? Okay,
I like that.
That's the closest I might come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely have an offshore cult, for sure. Lisa.
I don't mind paying taxes either.
Ah, yeah.
And the nice thing is we have a dependent now, so I think it's supposed to come down, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's okay.
Well, the tax deductions,
That's okay.
the amount of tax deductions you could take went down. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that really works
Well,
anymore.
y'all are the historical Democrats of this group, as the the soul. Well, I'm not really even
moderate.
The moderate here.
The most. All right, Prophet. What?
The most right-leaning of us.
What would you?
All
do
I'm
here?
saying is socialism works so long as we can kidnap someone and they give us money for it, and we just put that back in the pile.
I don't want to get into that just yet. We gotta wait for
Oh, we will. What would I do to avoid taxes? I don't know. I don't think I'd join a cult. I just feel like I'm giving.
What about kidnapping?
But I don't know. I feel like you'd have to pay a tax on that. That's like
King George declares the kidnap tax is enacted.
I feel like it's an ill-gotten gains tax.
When did that? The kidnapper tax.
Well, I mean, it's like when the government finds out that you've been like making money on the side. That it's just unreported income. The IRS finds out about it, and then it's like, oh hey, I saw you made $500,000 on this kidnapping last year.
But the whole point of the debate is that you're not going to pay taxes on it. You're trying to avoid them.
Yeah, I liked your Cayman Island thing. I would just have my cult and all of its kidnappings happen through.
Little known fact: Cayman Islands recently repealed their kidnapper tax, so it's even more friendly to Mitch now.
I don't know. Is Switzerland still an option? Are there Swiss bait? I mean, if they used to hold Nazi gold, I think I should still be okay there.
I guess there's some sort of funneling between the Caymans and Swiss. There's some sort of blood funneling. Is there blood smuggling?
Now this sounds like the plot of Blade 3. If I'm not, right? There was one of them that had to do with blood banks.
This is a blood smuggling operation here.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this like Ocean's 14? Is that what?
Blood Ocean 14.
Oceans of Blood.
Oh, I like it.
Wow. Okay.
I like it.
No one won this debate. What was this question?
Was this ridiculous. A debate? We're throwing this debate term loosely in the last few episodes.
This is
it's just more been random shit we just.
You don't know who's
saying.
listening, okay?
That's true. So if you are a tax lawyer and you can help us figure out the best way to avoid playing blood taxes,
Texas Podcast Massacre @gmail.com. Check out our website at TexasPodcastMassacre.com to see if we've broken any other laws. I don't think we have on our website, but just in case.
Yeah. I mean, check our socials. Make sure, I don't know. We have a PayPal at some Cayman Island thing for this reason. So, send your taxes to us and we'll distribute it maybe.
Yeah. I should be like Texas Shelter, Texas Taxes Massacre.
Texas Tax Shelter Massacre.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
But if you give us all of your taxes and your blood, it'll help make the podcast grow. So like a weird
island
of lady thing.
Jesus Christ.
This movie is just something else.
I have a feeling that I liked it more than anybody else, but I think that wraps up the debate.
Lisa? I think that wraps up the podcast.
Lisa's
going out on top.
Lisa, we're going to get into this because I know Lisa has a lot of strong opinions. And so this week's movie of the week is Apostle.
The promise of the divine is but an illusion. God is pain. God is suffering. Beware false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Let us begin.
Lord, forgive us.
So Apostle just came out this weekend on Netflix. Nate live tweeted it. We'll talk about how that went. But before that, Lisa, as always, as our unsuspecting victim, you have to describe this movie to someone.
Other than pure genius, well, how would you describe this?
Right.
Oh my God.
And as few Beauty and the Beast references as possible.
Yeah,
how
ideally.
could you
be our guest? Go ahead.
Going on strike, man.
Guest, be our guest. Put your blood into the vase. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Wow. Off the cuff, just like
Off
that.
the cuff.
Huh?
I really wanted that to be the parody
Impressive.
song, but
All right.
we got something else planned for that.
A bunch of folks decide that be much more productive than throwing tea in the water. They're gonna go to an island to avoid paying taxes.
Yeah.
Try and make it on their own, and everyone ends up dying.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry to spoil it. I don't care.
Lisa, don't give a fuck. Yeah, no, these people don't seem like the party type of people. I even saw they have a party scene, and it was the lamest party I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was like
they're not very tea party-esque.
It was like making Lord of the Rings look great, like Hobbit parties, like looking amazing.
Hey, Hobbit parties probably have great food.
Well, I'm saying, but it was like a similar kind of like vibe. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is way better.
Yeah. So Nate, what can you tell us about this movie?
This movie came out Friday, October 12th. So
One day off. Sorry, Jason.
It premiered at Fantastic Fest here in Austin, or not here in Austin, here in the Texas, state of Texas, Austin, in September, and that's where it premiered, and then it released, like I said, on Friday. This movie is 130 minutes, which I'm sure Lisa loved every minute of. There's 3,600. There's 3,600
here. That is
reviews
Lisa.
on IMDb right now. It's a 6.6. I'm assuming that's rounded down from 6.66.
Yeah,
is my guess. Rotten Tomatoes 77%. Lisa is not registered to give reviews on Rotten Tomatoes yet. So
that's a good point.
yeah, you should. That's your payback.
That's a great point. I need to work on some of these numbers.
Voice of the people.
Yeah.
Unsuspectingvictim.com gives this movie 0 out of 100 stars.
I don't know if that domain's taken. I'm curious, but
It's like
not curious enough to go check to see
it's
what
just
that
like
is.
a link to like the dark web. That's all it is.
Who is sitting at their computer going, let me go unsuspectingvictim.com right now. That isn't like involved in this podcast.
Yeah. The tagline for this movie doesn't exist. So I made one up. My tagline for this movie is blood is thicker than slaughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
It actually made me chuckle. So that was good.
The director of this movie is Gareth Evans. He's known for The Raid, Raid Redemption, and Raid 2, which are two of the greatest action movies probably ever made. So go check those out. He did the Safe Haven segment on VHS 2, the horror anthology movie. He is rumored to be in the running to direct Deathstroke, which is one of those DC superhero things with the guy from Magic Mike.
Which guy from Magic Mike?
Who's married to the lady from Modern Family.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yes.
right? No. Joe.
You know who that-
Joe Manganiello. He's also in True Blood.
Joe Manganiello or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that guy.
He's in those commercials now. Is it DirecTV or
It's Hulu?
Hulu? Yeah, he's in the Hulu commercials.
Okay, nice.
That's either not sequitur.
Not this guy who's in this movie, but the main actor is Dan Stevens, who everyone will know from Legion, one of my favorite Holland movies of all time, The Guest, Beauty and the Beast, as we mentioned previously.
Oh.
Shout out to Lisa on that one.
Downton Abbey.
Downtown Abbey.
That's where he got his start.
Yep, Downtown Abbey. His first acting
Downton.
gig. No, Downtown. The first acting gig he ever had was a Frankenstein TV miniseries. So there you go. So
that's
he
cool.
started with horror.
All right.
I guess the second main actor is Michael Sheen.
Yeah.
He's coming out. He's coming out with a movie with Simon Pegg called Slaughterhouse Rules with a Z at the end of Rules, which is a horror comedy.
Okay.
It's coming out, I think, at the end of October. I don't know if it's coming out in the US then, but
Gotcha.
that's coming out soon. Obviously from the Twilight series, the Underworld series. I guess I didn't realize that he was a vampire and he was a werewolf.
Yeah, he's kind of cornered the market on that whole.
Yeah,
Is he a werewolf in Underworld?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's got cult. He's got cult in between werewolf and vampire.
That's
This
hilarious.
guy's really hitting it. And he had an amazing turn as Wesley in 30 Rock, which I highly recommend watching those episodes.
Yeah, he did.
I'll be there always when the rains fall in Wales, which is where this takes place. It all comes together.
Yep.
Perfect. No one understood what that meant. Lucy Boynton was the main actress in this movie. She's from Sing Street, Murder on the Orient Express. She's in the upcoming Bohemian Rhapsody, and she's been in a couple horror movies. I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House.
Andrea is who you're talking about?
And Blackcoat's daughter. So she's been in a couple things as well. She's Michael Sheen's daughter.
I did not make it through much of I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in This House.
Yeah, me either. I actually stopped watching it.
I fell asleep.
I was just like,
it was the boring thing.
Do I want to watch Starship Troopers for the 100th time or watch this?
Hey, Starship
Troopers.
Starship Troopers always wins, practically over everything. Yeah, it's incredible. Anyway,
so this is Gareth Evans' first English language film since 2006. That was his first movie called Footsteps. He's made a bunch of movies in between, and this is his first English language major film.
What does he make them in usually?
In Indonesia, he's made to the Raid.
That's interesting.
Raid 2. I forgot the name of the movie.
Aren't we special and lucky that he decided?
Yeah, he
to
came
make
back
this film.
just for you, just for this. And this
that's all for you.
And this movie was shot on set in Neath Port Talbot, Wales. Huh? Those are all words. we do have some listeners from Wales that I've seen on our stats.
Yeah.
Let us know how wrong I was talking about all that.
Yeah, please do.
Two interesting things on IMDb. One, the goddess lady is just named Her on IMDb.
Hold on, is this a cinematic universe that eventually became the movie Her?
Apparently.
That's Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson let herself go in this movie.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow. And the
great prosthetic,
creepy guy thing with the mask that walks around.
More specific.
That we'll get to eventually because I have questions. This is his only role on IMDb, and he has no profile picture.
Is there a name? I didn't look it up. Is there a name?
Yeah, there's a name, but he has no
name
profile
of the character.
Picture.
Yeah, I mean,
the name is just the Grinder.
Oh,
so
you mean that Rob Lowe TV show?
Make sure if you're gonna Google that, you don't put the.
Yeah,
you put that the there. Don't just start searching Grinder if you don't know what you're looking for.
Right.
It has an E.
That's a pro tip.
Keep the E on that.
All right, so let's. Where do you want to start? Where you want to talk about the characters, who they are, real quick? You want to set the scene. Why are we going to this island, Nate?
Sure. So Dan Stevens. So he's Thomas Richardson. His sister got kidnapped. He had been in China getting tortured.
Yes.
And then came home, and they thought he was dead. And he's like, "Hey, I'm home, and I was tortured a lot. Everything is great at home, though, right?" And Dad's like, "Ooh, I got some bad news for you. Your sister was kidnapped by a cult and taken to some remote Welsh island.
Yeah.
And they want ransom." He's like, "That sucks."
Well, and they kind of allude to the fact that him and his father are estranged or don't get along or something. They sort of allude to it at the beginning, but they don't really
I'd be estranged if I thought my son had died years ago. I guess that probably doesn't help, right? I don't know.
I don't know. They tried to build it up at the early beginning. So much of his backstory is, in my opinion,
backstory. Oh, come on. That's great.
Well,
later plot point.
Yeah.
Later plot point.
Well, it's a plot point now. He gets he has
everyone go watch this movie and then come back and get that amazing joke.
Don't listen to Nate. Don't listen to Nate. Don't.
If you're thinking
watch
about
this movie,
clicking on the Netflix app on your TV,
cancel your Netflix account.
Jeez. At least it's at full on boycott mode.
Look, I'm just saying,
Lisa,
I'm not so sure that anymore that it's good that Netflix and Prime and all them just let these people make these movies.
What do you mean by these people?
I don't know. Anyone who comes along is like, "Hey, I want to make this movie. Go for it."
Yeah.
Just go for it.
I actually watched all of the Grindhouse trailers yesterday. So
what's that got to do with anything?
There's the don't.
Oh yeah.
No, so back to about this actual movie. So much of his backstory is just complicated and it doesn't mean anything. We have the whole premise is really built around this ransom to go get his sister, and as we'll kind of talk about, it really doesn't really matter. There's no real it's not really referenced all that much. What is the fact? Like the ransom and all that. They're kind of looking for it, but there's so much packed in this movie. I guess I should have started maybe with general thoughts. I mean, there's so much they try to pack in this movie. Like his whole being why he's in China getting tortured because he's he's a missionary.
He was.
Yeah, he was, and now he doesn't he doesn't believe in God anymore. Cool. It felt like it was just a lot of this stuff was just thrown in there on his character. Well, he could have just as easily been a spy for the government. He could have just as easily been an auditor. He could have there was a million other things that would have been a lot simpler and would let you focus on the real other narrative and primary narrative.
Yeah, it was
an
really
heir to a fortune, perhaps.
Something, you know. I mean, he could have been a lot.
It was really more just about showing that the cult was desperate because of the crop situation than it was about him necessarily.
No.
I mean, it was
the choice for him having a sister who had to be ransomed. It wasn't really, at the end of the day, it really wasn't central to the plot. It was just a vehicle just to get him there.
What were they going to do with the money?
They're going to buy things from the mainland.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that guy who has the boat.
How does that jive with your religion? And we'll get into the religion in a second, but how does that jive with your religion when you say, oh, she will provide for us, but she's also cool with us trading and bartering with the mainland just in case?
They're more on the provide part than the morality part. That's more like a choose your own adventure kind of part in this movie, which we'll get to. But it was more. They were just so desperate. They're like, oh, this chick's dad's rich. We're pretty desperate.
I don't know.
So let's do it.
I get it. But it was just kind of, I don't know.
Loosey goosey.
It was like a perverse morality because Michael Sheen was so against murdering people, which would have helped the situation, that he'd rather kidnap somebody. Like he's like, I don't want to do this, but if I have to do something bad, I'll start with kidnapping before I get to murder. That was kind of the plan.
Yeah, so. I think I feel like they started the same place as the Wicker Man, and then they said, okay, how do we make this a little different? Oh, well, they need ransom. They still want to try to barter with the mainland because the Wicker Man sort of is the same sort of premise. Oh, crops are going bad, and we need to do something about it.
Kind of like the witch as well. Yeah.
Lisa, so you've had a lot of thoughts while we were watching this movie. Your general thoughts about this film?
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Did you or did you not sit there with me?
I did
for 2 hours.
Felt longer.
For our listeners' benefit.
Okay. For my unsuspecting victims out there, if you're not a fan of cults, don't watch this movie. Fair. If you're not a fan of gratuitous gore, don't watch this movie. If you're not a fan of creepy things that wear masks and never ever get explained, don't watch this movie. What else?
What about Beauty and the Beast fans? What are we talking about here?
No, God, no.
It's got Dan Stevens in it.
No. Okay. There are much better things to watch Dan Stevens in. Night at the Museum, for example. He was also in that. Watch that. Don't watch this. I was clearly... I don't think I have to spell it out, but I was not a happy camper.
What about the first half of the movie? So the first half is a little slower. It's setting the stage for what's going on.
Oh, with Fionn?
Fionn?
The double F?
Yeah, Fionn. That's a good...
Fionn.
Missed the...
Everyone else had a chill, normal names. Jeremy, Andrea...
Malcolm.
Double
Fionn.
Fs.
Why? What was the point of that?
Or for fuck's sake.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's like, you know what? You're going to name me that shit? I'm going to go off and rebel against you.
No.
Because that's basically what happened.
So, you...
Yeah,
might as well final cut it now.
I would agree with your assessment. I think Unsuspecting Victims, this is probably not a movie
especially
for you.
The second half.
First
half,
sure.
First
half, there's a little bit of intrigue. You're kind of trying to
right.
figure it out. There's some kind of cool little jump scenes where you're like, what the shit?
The violence starts on a slower pace, and at the end, it is, oh my God, ramped up.
This, I'll say too, for horror fans, this is not a traditional. I wouldn't call this really a scary film. It is definitely a gory. It's a gruesome film. Yeah. It's got some. It's got a lot of horror elements, but it's less scares, more like holy shit type of.
It's kind of
It's it kind of reminded. It's like, hey, did you like Silent Hill, but wish it was set in the time of the witch? Then this is the movie for you.
You're off by about 300 or 200 and some years.
Roughly. It was
Children of the Corn-esque as well.
Yeah.
It was actually very close to Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Except their corn grew better.
Well, Silent Hill also has a cult.
Oh, no, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of like pyramid faced people.
But there is the grinder.
There's the grinder
who has or also twig face. So I will say this as we get into this. Face? As I was watching the movie and right at the end, I looked at the Wikipedia post thing. I was like, did I miss something? Let me just go and check. And they called this character 3 different things in the review. So 3 people had definitely edited it and changed the name of whatever that thing is.
It's just, it's pretty self-explanatory.
The grinder or twig face? Which one do y'all want to call it?
I like the grinder.
You like the grinder, Lisa?
What the hell is it? What was the point? Where did he come from? What was he doing?
The minion.
Who made him?
It's the minion.
He's like a baby ant. He's like Groot. He's a horror Groot.
But who made him? Where did he come from?
Was it a person wearing a mask?
I guess that was constantly covered in blood.
I assume.
Didn't they shoot him at one point and nothing happened? I don't know.
No, I think it was just.
No, they shot right next to him.
I think it was a person in a mask whose entire job was just to be like the blood getter. Like
he put people in the meat grinder.
Yeah, but he was like, I get the blood. He was, if anything, he should be the butcher. That's what his name should be.
I think he was stupid. Is what I think.
Hot takes.
The dumb butcher.
All right, so. Let's talk about this cult. They don't really have a name, I don't think, right? Or
it's Malcolm, man. It's Prophet Malcolm.
Yeah, it's just Prophet
Malcolm.
The
word according to Prophet Malcolm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a cult founded really on not paying taxes, as we discussed earlier, and giving blood for the harvest.
Yeah, and he's like, I have a lot of cool things to say. If people would like kind of worship me, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing that. Sweet. Let's go off and do it.
There's a lady. Yeah, this whole thing is predicated on a lady that
showed him mysteries.
Yeah.
Of a sort. And then he used those mysteries to get followers to say profound things and then bring them to said island.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they get to that island in the first place. I don't really mention it. They just kind of say, like, hey,
I thought they kind of shot like they're like prisoners or something. Like they're I think because they're traitors to the crown, so they escape the island. The island. I think there's some like the main heads, like the 4 main guys, all like showed up on this island because they were escaping.
Yeah,
persecution.
But it was just kind of like, okay,
this is their Plymouth Rock, if you will,
and it landed on them for sure. But yeah, the cult is there. How many people are in this cult? What do you think?
30.
No, it's more than that. The whole church was filled.
It was a small church.
What do you think, Lisa? I was like 75, 100.
There's a good amount of people. Which
didn't seem like it was that
I don't want to jump to the ending, but yeah, there were a pretty good amount of people there. And during the party scene, it was a good chunk of people.
This party scene was so lame.
It was a pretty lame.
You were just jealous you didn't get invited.
I didn't get invited. It was like middle school all over again.
Seems like a blessing in disguise how the movie ends.
Well, yeah, because you forgot your mask, so
So, jeez.
Where to begin? I guess so.
That's the problem. There's so much.
Dan Stevens arrives on the island undercover cult infiltration. It starts kind of like almost like an espionage movie. Yeah. It starts. He's gathering
basically
intel.
Gets someone else murdered because he switches tickets with them.
Someone else murdered.
Yeah.
He is trying to gather information and break into buildings and figure out where his sister is.
Mm-hmm.
Which the town is not that big. Why do you feel like you have to keep a map?
Yeah, it was like the map was like 8 buildings.
Yeah, he's like,
you can't figure out 8 buildings. Come on.
Well, none of us have actually been tortured for months in Peking, China before.
So I guess that
makes you not realize how to walk around a small village.
Maybe.
So brother,
he's taking hits of like LSD or something the whole time. Or
Prophet Malcolm uses the party as an excuse to search everyone's room. So if anything, the party might have sucked, but it served its purpose.
Yeah, because they know straight away that whoever's there for the girl they kidnapped is on the island. So they're trying to figure out who it is.
Yeah. And they've been it seems like they've been getting some fresh recruits.
Yeah.
Like they were waiting for them with the whole process. So it seems like.
Well, yeah. I mean, they clearly got some recruiters out in London.
I did
got
like,
a good recruiting party.
We kind of skipped it. I did like the scene on the boat when he's coming over and the lady's like, I haven't seen you before. And he's like, oh, I haven't seen you before.
Like coming to all the
but
meetings?
You see me now.
Oh, you go Tuesday, Thursdays? I go Wednesdays.
Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah.
But let's talk about this boat scene. I can't skip the animals dying.
Of course you can.
Does the goat die.com? The answer to this is yes.
Unceremoniously.
The goat gets thrown overboard and murdered.
This
so sad.
So you did a live tweet, and I'll say, because we didn't watch it at the same time, I avoided your live tweet. I wanted to join in with you. Maybe another movie before Halloween gets here. We'll do one together. But my God, you tagged me on one about the goat dying. And you know me very well because I was not thrilled about this scene. Why? What is the point? It wasn't scary. It didn't add to the horror. It was just this goat just
because it will be what it will be, Mitch.
This goat just drops into the galley and they just shunk it down
in case you thought this was the 1 in a million cult who was rational. No. off the jump. This goat is dead, and it is not going to be.
They just let it just flop out into the water. Just done.
It hit a couple things on the way, which is so brutal.
Just uncalled for.
I was watching
like them. Again, we're jumping a little bit. Them slitting the neck of that one rabbit for what they're doing later. Fine. That didn't bother me near as much as this scene. This scene was just excessive.
Yeah, I was watching. I'm supplementing a couple of movies to our 31 Days of Halloween, so I have a few extra. I was watching the director's commentary on Planet Terror. With Robert Rodriguez, and there's a scene where they're driving the truck. El Rey is shooting them, and then the truck runs over him, and he goes, "Yeah, I just threw a dog in there to get run over just because I just want to let the audience know anything could happen." So that's what this movie did. It's like we're gonna kill the goat off the bat and just say. Goat murders are totally normal.
At least better.
Anything can happen.
At least just having it up front versus Bus Party to Hell, where they shoot they explode the dog at the very end just because they're like, yeah, fuck it, we haven't killed an animal.
Or Hereditary, at the very end of the dog dies one of the last scene, in the background.
We can't even get into it. I can't.
Lisa, what'd you think about this goat scene?
It's terrible.
Yeah. It was bad.
So sad.
I was
so happy because Dan Stevens cuddles him. He's like, "It's gonna be okay, buddy."
Boop.
And then the guy's like, "Whoosh." What?
Well, do they know they would have needed that blood? That's the problem. Right. They wasted the blood.
Wasted good meat, good blood. Come on.
Hold on. Is this a prequel to the Blood Drive TV series? Because the cars run on blood.
Maybe.
And this one, the island grows plants on blood.
Maybe.
All right. So
I'll tell you this, Blood Drive's a lot more fun than this movie was.
Sure. So let's get into the plot, I guess. This cult.
We're still not in the plot
this
of this.
cult. So Michael Sheen, Prophet Malcolm, you got Malachi, red-haired dude, the enforcer, right? On the island.
Yeah.
And then you got the two other kind of supplementary guys, but the more reasonable people.
Yeah.
There's these 4 dudes that kind of run at the shop. They found a deity-ish thing that if you feed it blood, it grows crops on the island.
Okay.
And apparently she, Scarlett Johansson. I wrote in the live tweet, I go, man, Bran really let himself go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yeah.
It's it's a 3-eyed raven.
Yeah. It was like a 1.5-eyed raven, barely. But no, the apparently just animal blood and all that used to cut it, but now it's I need that human. Yeah. I need that human universal donor, just whatever blood right in my mouth through a funnel.
Yeah, I need only O positive folks can show up.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the premise of this that you don't realize till later is that so the crops are failing because this thing's not getting enough blood. The blood isn't working anymore, right? It needs the
blood's not innocent or pure enough.
Exactly. So that's why they're when Dan Stevens is doing his espionage act, trying to break into different rooms and stuff, everyone's got a glass of blood from themselves outside their door. That was creepy as shit. That was the creepiest part of the movie. Almost.
I'll disagree with you there.
No, you didn't think so?
No, it was. I mean, it was just weird. It went creepy at that point.
It was creepy, but then the blood like unnaturally went down in the cracks, and the reason for that is
that part was weird because
the reason for that is that the ground, via the power of this thing, is pulling all the blood toward it.
So yeah, I was surprised that this movie kind of revealed to me, at least a little early, that this is one of those, the supernatural shit's really happening. Yep. They're not just crazy. Because they show the woman, they show that it actually works and that the branches all turn to flower, flowers bloom and all that whenever she gets her blood. Although she looks like she sends a shitty like Darth Vader like twig version of his like seat in the Death Star.
Why doesn't this cult just say like, oh yeah, we're like donating all this blood to like all the like the Oliver Twist Cole children or something in like whatever Charles Dickens novel you want to pick from that time frame.
It's not like anyone's questioning the blood anyway.
It's what I'm saying. Like, you say like, hey, like all that guy does in that boat is just like cart over blood.
Oh, you mean he should just bring blood instead of people?
Okay, well, I blew my what would I do differently, I guess. But yeah, bring blood over.
Oh, yeah.
Well, sure.
Right?
Yeah, but then you don't want people trying to bring another foreign aid.
It's like a blood Ponzi scheme, though, and then eventually you run out of blood. But yeah, that's the main supernatural premise. Did that work for you, Lisa? Did this make?
I mean, sure, whatever. I don't know. It was between that, but she's pissed, so she's poisoning the crops, and then there was a lot going on.
Because they're using her like a machine or like a. That's what. The Malachi.
Well, because she was trapped. She was trapped in a thing. She couldn't just roam free.
Yeah, I think before she.
Although she kind of could roam free because she could like.
I think it was like more of like
her mind.
Yeah, it was more of a spectral projection.
There was a lot going on.
She was almost like a precog too from Minority Report. There was a whole lot of properties.
And then there were
she's the witch from Insidious because she can astral project.
She was asked, but on this plane.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about these two dum-dums. Wait,
only two?
Fiona? Or Fionn.
And who?
Fiona would have been less egregious. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, Fiona would have been fine. Some intern on the set just mistyped it and was like, no, that's definitely her name.
Well, we're probably shitting on like a very common Welsh name.
Yeah, I was like, this is like the most Welsh name ever.
This is like Welsh Emily or something, but I don't know.
Well, then why not get everyone Welsh names? Why just her?
Fionn.
Well, because maybe she was born there and the rest were all like, I don't know, who knows.
But everyone else's name, there's a Jennifer. Her boyfriend is Jeremy.
Yeah, everything is so bland, and then it's her.
Quinn is the Malachi guy.
Andrea,
Frank, Charles.
Yeah,
Thomas. Main character. Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway,
all right,
so they decide that they're gonna sleep together.
Yeah, they're teenagers. They're dumb.
No, she decides they're gonna sleep together. He's like, yes, I'll be a part of that.
He didn't say no.
He said yes. He said yes.
This is turning a little.
There was vigorous consent. Let me just say
this is very consensual.
Yes, very consensual.
I did like how she talked to Andrea, and she's like, "Well, to get pregnant, you'd have to sleep with him." Oh yeah, we've been sleeping together for
many moons,
a long time,
many moons.
And how long has it been since you've had your blood? Oh, like months now.
The winter months.
Come on, child.
What are you expecting? This is like early summer.
No.
Late spring, early summer.
What was the point of these two characters besides getting brutally murdered?
Well, no, the point was that, so in theory, this is supposed to be a paradise place. So the pitch of the cult is, you come here, everything's great. You got Prophet Malcolm, he's got his own book. Don't worry about that Bible crap. We'll just burn that on your way in. Which they literally did. They give him the book. You have this Malcolm dude, this deity thing. You give us blood. Everything's great forever. And then these two kids are just being kids, and they get the full impact of what this cult is all about. It's when cults stop being polite and start getting real.
But this had nothing to do with them being in a cult.
You could have taken them out of the movie, and it wouldn't have made a damn difference.
I agree.
No, because it was the impetus for the Quinn / Malachi's takeover of the group.
I agree with both. I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
I think to Lisa's point, Well, they're probably they didn't have to have a whole like love child baby thing that was part of this.
They didn't have to do a lot of things.
I don't think it added.
They didn't have to make the movie.
Yeah, exactly. But
they needed. Her character was just sort of like she was just set up to be.
Well, she was a free spirit in this cult, which is like you're asking for trouble.
And I'm sorry, I think I distracted myself from my own point. You said. It's not the cult. I think it was just that her dad didn't want them together. I don't think there was anything about their cult saying they couldn't be together.
Because of the way this cult is set up, he has like almost infinite power over everybody. And then eventually the Malcolm guy who's supposed to be the leader comes up and he's like, I don't care anymore.
No.
Like, this is set up. I'm the leader. Screw you.
See,
because they just have so much power. That was kind of the struggle that Malcolm had, is like, we need blood, right, to make the crops grow. I don't want to be the guy to kill people. He wants to kill people. So I need to hold him in check. There's a little bit of dynamics.
There's another reason. I mean, this is a perfect example too. Again, another reason why I say they tried to add too much of some of these like extra details to try to. I don't know. They thought they didn't flesh out enough of the characters and didn't have enough development.
Yeah.
But if they had just ignored, Dan Stevens being the missionary, just mention that. They don't have to show it. They don't have to do anything. That's taken out. You have more time to highlight and really show the conflict growing between Malcolm and Malachi over here. Because there's hints of it. I mean, you see it, but it's so quick. It's so quick.
Yeah,
even at like
subtle.
2 hours and 10 minutes, everything is still like nothing's given time to breathe. They're just going.
Well,
That was annoying.
The last third of the movie is just nonstop.
Exactly. A lot of it.
They could have taken out some of the bigger threads and really fleshed out the backstory with Malcolm and Frank. Is that his name?
It was Quinn.
Yeah.
Frank is
There's
the other
another
guy.
Frank, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they just that whole thing of how they got there and found the goddess or whatever it was like 5 seconds.
And then
I'm
Dan
the one that found her. Okay.
Well, they show like the feeding and they pepper that in a little bit
they
more,
do,
yeah.
but I think our point I think for Lisa was it was just so quick. By the time they're just like here, then they're here, then they're here. It's like the last season of Game of Thrones. Everyone's just moving super fast. It was just,
they weren't teleporting, I guess, as far. But yeah, no, yeah, there was a lot going on.
Yeah,
there was.
So you mentioned that when they find the lady. Let's talk about when Dan finds the old lady. What did y'all think about this tunnel scene? Like going through the.
Oh, you mean the Descent Part 3?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like he's like traveling through all this viscera and everything.
It was literally the Descent.
Yeah,
I thought it was great. Those were the scary parts of the movie when she astral projected or whatever to people. That got creepy. There was some jump scares. That was probably the creepiest part of the movie. I take it back. The blood was.
That's why I disagree with you. This part was like.
This part was the creepiest.
That was intense because she just rises out and then starts chasing them down.
Yeah.
And
in a very tight space.
They even did like not even tight space, but even just like the running with water where you're like having to like lift your leg extra high. Like you still had that like Jesus sloshing through
It's so slow, but it's so fast.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. That scene was very well done.
That was a great scene.
But you're right. It was very much the same.
But it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Technically it's a prequel because it's 1905. So it happened beforehand.
Yeah. So at this point, he sees the old lady. He finds the cave drawings. I assume the same one that Jon Snow and Daenerys find for the White Walkers down in Dragonstone.
Dude, she looks like a White Walker.
She does.
Slash three-eyed raven.
This could either be, depending on when you believe Game of Thrones happens, either a prequel or a sequel.
She's like one of the wood elves or something that got extinct.
The Children of the Forest.
Exactly.
Ooh, she could be the Children of the Forest. Man, I'm developing my sequel idea right as we speak.
Imagine Dan Stevens on Game of Thrones. Hold on. Lisa, you in on this?
Lisa's in on a lot with Dan Stevens.
Yeah.
But,
I'm just going to go rewatch Downton Abbey.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into sort of the last.
Yeah, the last third. This is where all the action.
Because I mean, there is one scene about a spy who comes in from the crown, and this is again another thing that was like cool scene. Didn't really need it.
Well,
it was
the only reason that they had that scene. I didn't mind that scene because then they trusted Dan Stevens for a hot minute.
And it put the pressure on him, and that Quinn guy's just like,
well, let me reiterate my position.
It's
It's not that these scenes don't have a purpose, but because they're so rushed, that's right. Because they're so rushed, the execution it falls a little flat there.
Yeah,
I get why it's in there. My point is that it's so rushed. It's just like, oh shit. And so anyway, this guy gets a bunch of halberds in the neck and shit. Jesus,
he got stabbed by 4 spikes.
Yeah,
that was
it was
brutal.
And why didn't they collect his blood?
Yeah, they were wasting so much blood in this.
I don't know why I had milk.
You're desperate.
Well, no, Lisa. They don't waste it because just like the blood that spilled and then went down. in that crack,
so as long as it falls on the ground, it's okay.
I think it makes its way.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
as long as the building's attached to the hidden catacombs.
Yeah, did you see how those buildings were built? There's cracks everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any problem. People were going under buildings.
Shoddy
no
workmanship.
problem. Like, have you ever heard of foundation before? No, they don't care.
So really, the
took apart a whole brick wall in the house.
Exactly, as I'm saying, it's totally fine.
So really, the client.
The start of the escalation
is that the dad finds out that Fionn is pregnant. So he starts saying that it's going to be abomination,
monstrosity.
It's going to be. He calls it all sorts of things. Says it's going to be this grotesque thing,
and then he brutally murders.
And then he
her.
just decides to
cut out the fetus.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the worst.
Well, now I will say. You did kind of spoil this for me in the tweet, so I knew it was coming. It was a lot more restrained than I was prepared for, which is good.
Parents, don't kill your kids.
just
the more you know.
The more you know.
Please don't do
that. Public service announcement.
You come home,
you
talk to your kid, you murder your kid. Don't murder your kid.
Yeah, let's. We stand behind that message here.
Yeah.
At Texas Podcast Massacre.
But after that happens, this movie pops off.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So what's the boyfriend's name? Jeremy. Jeremy spoke in that house today. He went Sweeney Todd on him, tried to slice him with a razor. Jeremy hasn't fought too many things before.
Jeremy almost got him.
Almost.
He cut his this movie might have featured the most neck cutting I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of of varying degrees. Full throat slash, half slash, quarter slash.
Yeah.
What was, man, this is crazy.
Little nicks here and there. Yeah. But he unfortunately lets him run out the house, and the dad's able to spin it and make it look like Jeremy killed the daughter, and he's able to use that to help turn everyone against him.
Everyone saw that Pearl Jam video.
You finally
got it.
Yeah,
understandable.
Daddy didn't care.
Daddy didn't give affection.
Yeah,
that is 100% true.
So then we get to see the heathen stand. This scene super uncomfortable.
Yeah, this is a torture device of next level. It's a purification device.
Yeah,
not a torture device. Purify them.
I think the more horrifying part. So, I mean, describing this thing won't do it justice. But so they put they strap him down, but the way they strap him is they're basically driving these boards to basically hold the wrists and ankles.
It's like a mini vice.
But it looks like there's clamps, like it's bolting into them too. Because you see some blood running in.
Yeah.
They're doing enough to crack bone. Because the one scene that stuck with me is when it switched to his first person perspective, and you see when they're clamping around his head, and he starts turning, and then you just hear this sick crunch, and then blood kind of.
Lisa, what was?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch? You
no. Oh my God, no! Are you crazy?
I had an unsuspecting victim with me while I was live tweeting, and also peaced out. Peaced out, came back, peaced out again.
That's right.
I'm out on this.
Well, yeah, you see him slicing some of the hair, and then this thing comes in, and I mean, it looks like an apple core. It just
a brain and skull
sticks in, and then you crave. And again, it doesn't show that part. You just hear and you see him moving. So again, decent restraint on this, because I thought this could have gone.
You see the end result, and then they put a little flower in there, purified.
Yeah, in this open cantaloupe of a head.
The kid is 1,000% dead. It actually reminded me of Starship Troopers, where they said that when he sucked his brains out, the bugs, it was very similar to that head-wise.
Yeah, it was an uncomfortable scene just in general to watch.
And then Frank's like, I was going to leave with my kid and go to the mainland and get out of here because we're going to escape and everything's cool, right? Oh, no. You killed...
No, this kid's dead.
You killed this kid.
So then, then Quinn makes a power play. He decides he's going to be the...
Malachi style?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everyone turns with him, sort of, except someone grabs a gun, and there's everyone disperses pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, I guess.
I think Frank gets a gun and shoots someone.
Well, he shoots Malcolm.
He doesn't shoot. No, Frank doesn't shoot Malcolm.
Sorry, Quinn. Quinn shoots Malcolm.
Yeah.
He also shoots Frank. And
no. He doesn't shoot Frank. The twig face dude shoots Frank.
No, sorry. Twig face.
A lot of people get shot. This gun passes around.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
Very quickly.
And then Dan Stevens nicely hides under bushes again near the base of this building, because apparently these buildings don't, like, they're floating almost. They're getting under him so easily. Then I guess Quinn shoots Malcolm down the shaft where Dan Stevens hid. Over the dissenting chamber, and then the movie turns into a "Don't Breathe" situation.
Pretty much.
So there was a scene earlier. Again, this is so dense of a movie, but there's a scene where Jennifer, the sister, is kind of like held out in the middle of town, like, "Hey, come out, Thomas! Like, we got her. Like, we know you're on the island. Come get her." And they're kind of like mini, like humiliating her and all that kind of stuff. Then they grab her again, and they grab Malcolm's daughter, and they're just like, you know what? I'm just going to "Don't Breathe" turkey baste you to get kids to feed to this woman blood. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You took "Don't Breathe" the turkey baster and made it worse. That is like, you're chained in a stone tower, and the guy will come every year to try to impregnate you so that your baby can get White Walkered.
Yeah. He's Craster.
Yeah, White Walker.
Christ, this has Game of Thrones.
Yeah, to this thing. I mean, it's basically Game of Thrones-esque, but like worse. Somehow worse, because it's a normal person doing it, right? It's like, it's
now while
terrible.
this is going on, or at least maybe prior before that, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the Dan Stevens meat grinder.
He escapes
that happens before this.
That's right.
So Dan Stevens.
Did your unsuspecting victim piece out at that part too?
Oh yeah, already gone.
He's
already gone.
So for you, Lisa, since you pieced out.
No. I'm piecing out right now. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Well, so they catch Thomas when Jeremy tries to escape. They catch Thomas and Malcolm's daughter, and he gets then his torture is to go to the grinder.
Well, remember he there's a lot that happened. He'd broken away when they caught him.
Yeah.
But then when he finds his sister, finally, he's like, we're here. We're going to get you out of here. And then, of course, he gets like bludgeoned by the twig face.
Yeah.
Twiggy Ramirez.
Twiggy's Stardust.
Oh my God.
Twiggy's. I like that.
Yeah.
So he wakes up hooked up to an old school meat grinder, loses some fingers as he's getting pulled into this.
And that's interesting, because he'd already been tortured by the Chinese, right?
Yeah.
I think this was like meant like, this guy is tough. Although, Lisa, you've seen Legion, right?
We watched like the first couple episodes, then we stopped.
But in Legion, Dan Stevens is supposed to be like this unhinged kind of mental patient in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Before they realize kind of different stuff.
Yeah.
In this movie, just generally, he looks more unhinged than that.
Yeah.
He is so unhinged. He's like, his general look, when he's just talking in a normal conversation, this guy is on edge, like
having some
disturbed.
fingers, ripped off of your hand.
No. What I was saying, but even before that, he was like unhinged, right?
Yeah.
And then he'd already been tortured a bunch and had the back scars and brandings to prove it. Then he loses a couple fingers, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going out. I don't need these fingers. Yeah, I don't need these fingers. They were slowing me down. Now I'm agile." But then he murders the grinder in the grinder with like a fish hook to the face.
It was one of the straps or whatever.
Yeah,
and that was
because then he was grinding him, and I wrote this movie might single-handedly take down the hand crank industry. You see hand cranks killing the guy, taking his brains out. You see hand cranks like making people's like fingers go away and like murdering things. Yeah, cranks. I don't know. So I'm anti-crank now.
I gotta tell you, years and years ago, when I was taking martial arts, we had one of the
grinder style.
No,
come on.
Well, one of the students there, he was Vietnamese, and he tells me about this movie called Ricky O. The story of Ricky.
Of course, Ricky O. Yeah.
So I was in high school. He brings this movie for us to watch. So we do it before, like, it was like during the summer when school was out. So we were all watching before classes opened up. Cause I was an assistant instructor at the time. I guess that's maybe college then. In any case, they have a meat grinder scene in that movie. Now, this movie is over the top gratuitous violence. Like, one dude gets like part of his stomach like punched right through him. Like
Kung Pao style.
But
more brutal. That's,
brutal. Yeah. Like they were being serious and trying to really, Kung Pao was like,
it was making fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were making fun of this. So there's a meat grinder scene where he shoves a dude's arm in this meat grinder. And it comes out like pastrami. And I was like, man, this is the most unsettling thing I've ever seen in my life. I never want to see meat grinder shit. Fast forward to several hours ago.
You didn't watch Kingsman 2, did you?
Oh, I did.
Yes.
At the very end is the whole
gigantic
point.
meat grinder with it Julianne Moore, right?
Guess who repressed that shit? This guy right here.
That's bad.
Woo, because I did see Kingsman 2. We did see that.
Yeah,
I forgot. This was still worse. This is still
Your
worse.
whole story. Suspect. Your whole story.
How did I, man? Yeah.
That grinder is brutal,
repressing.
and it only gets worse from there. I mean, people were getting shot. Obviously, then there's the final scene. So Dan Stevens at a little bit of a disadvantage, missing some pretty crucial fingers.
He still got the pointer though.
Yeah, thumb pinky.
He can point at you.
Yeah, but he then fights Quinn, who's getting ready to rape these girls.
Yep.
And the scene is rough. I mean, there's a lot of your neck cuts. There's a lot of
just stabbings.
The gun. I mean, it's just stabbings. He slits. He gets his throat, and then then Quinn stabs Dan Stevens like 100 times in the ribs.
Yeah,
and then he like cuts him like open.
It was
like a fish.
It's just
my god,
it's intense. It is. If you are very squeamish about like gore and I mean again the sound designer for this movie. I think he may have. I think the police should probably go check on him and just make sure he didn't actually murder someone to get such realistic sounds.
I think the sound design was fantastic.
Like they found like I don't know, old footage from Jeffrey Dahmer like in his house or something that they just like referenced. It's unsettlingly realistic.
Yeah, the crunches are visceral.
Yeah.
I gotta give kudos to Netflix on this. Well done for going out an original, like a Netflix original movie and being like this. Like this is the first one.
The crunches. He just got really close to the microphone, started eating Fritos. Like, just a big bite. Just a whole stack of Pringles.
Just listening to you guys talk about all this is not good.
He's like, hope you all enjoy that out there.
Breaking chicken bones, eating wings. Like that's what the sound was.
Where he's getting like the
tendons and whatnot. There was a lot of tendon breaking in this. I mean, everything. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But anyway, then after that, so Malcolm gets shot but doesn't die. Everyone's fleeing. Oh, by the way, everything catches on fire, so it's all burning to the ground.
Well, Dan Stevens sets on fire because the old lady stabs him in the head to then tell him to free him.
He was doing the Hodor like mind control thing or whatever, and then then he starts the fire that kills the deity in theory, and then everything's burning, and then that's fine. So then they're trying to escape, and Dan Stevens is like, "Oh, you remember how I got stabbed? Like I got my fingers ripped off, and I got stabbed like 1,000,000 times in the stomach." He's like, "I guess I." Probably gonna just go like lay here and die real quick.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Like you guys go off and do that.
I was surprised he managed to run as far as he did, considering he got stabbed like 20 times.
The adrenaline wore off and it was over. Like I think he had,
and they both could have carried him.
He was gonna bleed out on that boat.
Well, probably.
I don't know how far off from the Welsh, the Wales mainland they were, but
yeah,
I'm assuming it was far.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then he dies. It is bleeding a lot. Prophet Malcolm shows up and is like, "Hey, bro, what's up? I guess my whole island burned down and everyone died or is leaving, and you're dying. So let me just hang out with you." Right?
Yeah.
And then Dan's okay. So what do you think about the ending, Lisa? What do you think the ending meant?
What, that he got absorbed into the island?
Yeah, so he starts bleeding. He's bleeding a lot, and then everything's growing around him. And then all of a sudden, like, it's kind of tentacles from the ground. Is he the new
goddess, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, I thought he became the new deity.
Yeah.
This island. So maybe it wasn't the deity. Maybe it's the island. The
so
island
what does
has
Malcolm
a supernatural
do?
Thing.
Does Malcolm become the new grinder?
No, I think Malcolm then just runs it back. Like, all right, well, that didn't work. Let me get a non-redhead sidekick next time, and then see how this works. I'll get a brunette. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. See, my interpretation was that the god, like her, is supposed to be some sort of like fertility goddess or whatever. If they're talking about what she really wants is like babies, blood, and all that kind of stuff, right? That there's
potentially. I don't know if that was I don't know if that was 100% needed or not.
My kind of point is that I think that maybe it's cyclical, like and that's why I say the fertility goddess or whatever, like pagan. It's that every spring or maybe it's a new person becomes the deity for the island. So maybe it's more the island than the person.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think it was the island, which I thought was a great little mini twist.
And I think that's why obviously everything was dying, because they were prolonging her prolonging her life, and that's why everything was like rotting and
needed to move on.
Poisonous.
That's 100. Yeah, that sounds exactly right.
Yeah,
which is cool. That's awesome.
That's my. It wasn't like her possessing him. I think it was the way I interpreted it was he's.
It's Blood Island.
Yeah,
I mean
but his life is leaking out into the island, and the island needs a new
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
I guess the prophet's gonna just hang tight there. I guess.
He's like, cool. All right, well, I was saying,
praise be,
run it back,
praise be, yeah,
run it back.
Yeah,
that's it. I don't know, Lisa. Anything else you want to say about this movie?
Hell no.
All right. Well, I at least need to ask you both, what would you have done differently?
Son of a bitch! You left the bodies and you only moved the headstones. You only moved the headstones.
Guys, it's simple. If you think that there is an intruder on your island and you know that he switched a card with someone, instead of killing that guy, maybe you ask that guy, hey, who gave you this card? Did anything? It's kind of like when they're like, hey, did you lose track of your luggage at the airport? Did anyone touch your luggage or anything? You sort of that same kind of thing, like, oh, hey, I see you have this card in the mark, but you're not the guy we're looking for. Do you remember who switched it for you? Oh yeah, it was that guy over there. Done. This movie is a lot earlier.
Yeah.
They just like murder him before they're like, oh, we know he's not the intruder. Let's just kill him anyway.
And then we killed an innocent man. It's like, so I'm saying, like, everything escalated. Like, they were getting so desperate. I think that was the cult started out like maybe not good.
Right.
The cult started out like, oh, this is reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm just upset about the kidnapper's tax as the next guy.
I'm not even gonna look. I've never run a cult. I don't know how the stresses that come with running a cult in Wales. I'm not gonna say here he should have killed the guy. Maybe just get the information you need. He clearly knows who the intruder is.
Yeah.
You know, he had to switch his paper somehow. There's only one guy that like saw, that mess with his bag.
Or you just say like, hey, who's everyone on this boat with this person?
Right.
And then like line them up, have that guy, it's like a prison.
Well,
it's like
they did that after.
Prison,
they did that afterwards, and then it just happened to be there were two intruders.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So that part, but the first, I just feel like hey, look, buddy, we apologize about all the misfortune. If you could help us out and tell us who. Was there anyone that helped you with your? Have you been in possession of your luggage the entire trip?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you? The TSA questions.
The island is that code orange.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's happening.
So that's what I would have done. Lisa, what about you?
Other than I make this movie.
Yeah, we know. Find a better damn place to hide my map. Maybe just keep it on me.
No.
That was. He obviously tried to hide it a little bit and did a horrible job.
Put the map in your pants.
Well, Dan Stevens is used to the map being animated and running off on its own. He's like, oh, don't these fucking things move?
Oh, yeah.
Don't they just? Where's the wardrobe, Mrs. Potts? Where are you at? Yeah.
So you're saying hide their maps better?
Yes.
Hide your maps. Hide your crosses.
Yeah. Because once and Michael Sheen turned into Sherlock Holmes. There, he saw a map and it's like, that's the dude.
Bam, done.
Couldn't a map be a lot of things?
He just looks directly at the map and he's like, the house. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm saying the detective work there was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
That was kind of.
Can
amazing.
we say though?
Maybe
you guys mentioned this. I kind of tuned y'all out when y'all were talking about all that gory stuff. he immediately is able to take a horse and go straight to the goddess's like cabin without going through all these underground passages.
Yeah.
So that means they built out those underground passages, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't need, I mean, I guess they needed to.
They were hiding it from the cult.
Yeah.
The grinder,
they needed to because they couldn't just have someone follow him in the woods.
If that grinder guy is hanging out, people are like,
really,
I'm rethinking this.
Really. I get that he's called the grinder because of the meat grinder, but really think he needs a different name.
He's the butcher.
That's IMDb.
The butcher's great. Yeah. The grinder.
So anyway, that's what I would do differently.
It's like Midnight Meat Train. It's like you're on the nose, man. Come on, you need a little bit of subtlety.
Right, right. He's missing like a big old like cod piece or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. So for me, what would I do differently? So I am Theon.
Okay.
And I haven't had my last period since the winter months.
Yeah.
And it's clearly spring or summer. It's looking pretty nice out. Or as nice.
Now remember,
or as nice as
I'm
Wales.
going to assume that
Welsh Island can get.
I'm going to assume the sex education is not up to par. It's not meeting national standards on this island.
No. This is pre-sex ed.
Yeah.
And I know I'm pregnant, right? She knows she's pregnant. She's like, "Oh yeah, it's been a while."
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm pretty small, but you know, I'm at least like 3-4 months in, easy or more, right?
Yeah.
I'm peacing out. She knows who her dad is. She knows their dad's not going to like this, right? I'm out with that. And you know, the guy that you're having sex with likes you, right? So that's good. And you know that his dad is the one who has the boat.
Well, yeah, I was about to say
his dad is the one with the boat. You can get out.
The boat they were banging on was like functional, right?
No, that was the unfunctional one.
Oh,
that was one that was on land on their way walking in.
Okay.
But there is the functional boat, but his dad owns that boat.
Yeah.
Use that boat.
Yeah.
Get out. Get out.
Don't pack in plain sight.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
You can buy shit. Look, you can buy shit when you get there.
Dude, underneath all these houses is like a million weird crevice crawl spaces. Hide it in there. Although I guess everyone's going under there. So
yeah, it's the world's worst hiding spot.
Yeah, like
and everyone knows about it.
Like 1/5 of the movie is people underneath buildings. I don't know. I don't know how. But yeah, hide that better. But yeah, I get off that island.
Yeah.
Look, if your dad is the type of person who will murder you and tear the fetus out of your body and call it an abomination, that's not coming out of nowhere. Right? Like that's not like, last week I realized that you think this is abomination. No. This has been going on for a while. It's not out of the
It's called a pre-existing condition.
Exactly. It's not this lady, obviously she was a young, naive girl, right? Who just was like, I have a baby. I love this guy. This is great. But you know who your dad is. I mean, come on.
Well, guys, obviously it's first weekend. Now Netflix numbers are different than most of the box office because there's no real change in subscribers based on the movies. But we'll see. I guess we'll just see.
Tell it to Adam Sandler.
Well, yeah. But you know what? Let's assume it's going to do well. What are you going to do for the sequel?
Because let's face it, baby. These days, you gotta have a sequel.
Lisa, we're going to start with you because the face you're giving me right now.
The face says it all.
Why there has to be a sequel.
Yeah, so what I do is the sequel is all about how they refurnish the castle because once all of your servants turn back into humans, you have no more furniture. So that's definitely my sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what's the title?
No.
You gotta come up with the title.
So I'm cheating because I've seen it online before, but people have one. It's called Beauty and the Beast 2, The Trip to IKEA.
Nice.
I love that one.
Nice.
Is there a Welsh IKEA?
There's got to be.
It's gotta
Come
be
on,
just
IKEA's everywhere.
IKEA's everywhere. That's true.
You probably go right over that hill on that island. There's one right there. They had Swedish meatballs the whole time. They didn't even know.
The whole town was a shitty IKEA. If you really think about it.
True.
There's some haphazard buildings.
Yeah.
Oh, the Flurgan goes with the Corkmans, whatever. Yeah, no, you put it in wrong. You suck. Look at this. Why is this a huge gap?
That's why there's cracks
a huge gap
in the
underneath
floor.
the building. Exactly.
Yeah. Nate, what are you doing for a sequel?
Well, okay, so the movie sets up a sequel. Prophet Malcolm, he's on the island. Dan Stevens has become
him.
Him. Thank you. Him.
Him.
The three-eyed raven. It was her when it was just the lady. So you got a three-eyed raven. You got Malcolm still there. What if this is a chain of islands, though? Think about this. What if it's not the islands? What if it's like below?
An archipelago?
There's archipelago and
how you say that?
a bunch of atoll and atoll. Maybe there's even like a peninsula somewhere. Who knows? I think there could be some sort of like Cthulhu-esque monster underneath this.
Oh,
making
don't
all
bring
this happen.
Cthulhu into this.
There's not just one island. There's multiple. So my sequel is Apostles. Like aliens, right?
Okay.
Goodness.
And you got multi-islands. You got a lot of shit going on. You think this is the only one? It's like The Invitation. It pans out and you see like, oh shit, it's everywhere. Yeah, this is everywhere. You just saw one island, but the other islands are also probably not inhabited. Malcolm was just running this like it was the only one. Oh no, it was everywhere. He's a mastermind.
Wait, I just got an alert. Netflix just greenlit your
sequel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
Dan Stevens is really not necessary for that. You probably bring Michael Sheen back.
I think if you want Lisa involved, he's necessary.
All right. Who would it take to get you to watch this sequel? What actor? So you got Dan Stevens from Beauty and the Beast, which you love. And he goes beast mode in this movie. So pretty on brand for him. Who else?
Sam, I cannot say his last name. Who is it? The main guy from Outlander.
Oh, the
Jamie.
guy from Spy Who Dumped Me or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy?
Yes, that guy.
That guy. But I can't see that guy murdering a lot of people. Because Apostles.
No, but he
is
would be in
murder a
the
lot of
same.
people.
He would be in the same Dan Stevens role. Then he would be the one coming to.
Well, no. What I think would maybe happen in this Apostles is, the Crown had their assassin murdered. Well, they send a group of assassins.
Oh, he could be
each
an
to the
assassin.
islands to take them out, to root them out, and then they find out obviously that it's this larger evil island. Blood.
Like sort of.
Oh wait, I just got notification. Netflix said never mind.
yeah. And rescinded.
Adam Sandler stars in Apostles.
What do you want from me? Gonna grow some flowers.
Gonna get some blood.
Yeah, I'm in on that. Who runs the second island? Kevin James. We got it.
Oh,
put it in the bank.
Yeah, and then just Bigelow's on the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider is the three-eyed raven. Rated PG. No, it's not PG-13. It's 100% R. So I'd go that way, and I think Netflix would probably make it work.
I'm just imagining Adam Sandler and all this shit. Kevin Joe, oh my God, yeah. I wouldn't watch it, but I'd be really excited about it.
Is your blood too good for the hole? Get in the hole.
What do you want from me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Yeah.
Jesus.
Adam
right.
Sandler is the apostle.
Here's my thing, Nate. The hubris of man.
Oh God.
All right.
What?
Why do we just assume that it would be a guy that becomes the next, or I mean, a human that would become the next?
Oh, speciesist. Here we go.
Yeah,
okay.
that would become. I think.
Oh, that goat comes back. Hold on.
Well, there's 2 goat murders.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then what if the next her is actually a goat, and the goats take over this island and decide, hey, mankind's the reason why shit's going bad. And so now
it's going bad.
That is Apostle 2.
Breaking
Bad Blood.
Oh, that was Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad is also good.
Taylor Swift cameo, basically guaranteed. Can we agree on that? Just nothing to do with Netflix yet.
Just never got bad blood. No, that'd be the soundtrack.
We used to bleat Mad Love. All right? Come on.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Do you have a better sequel? Please let us know.
Or if you make a trailer for your sequel, holy shit, we will watch that.
Share the shit out of it.
Yeah.
We will watch it. Yeah, we send it over to our Netflix buddies to see if they'll greenlight it. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, with all that said, it's time we move into
Final Cut.
Now, I know the movie was gory, but I have a feeling the reviews could be bloody as well.
Mm-hmm. So, Lisa. Actually, no. Nate, as the champion of this film.
We like different films, so that's the start.
You think?
That's the start for me. I enjoyed this one. I think this is kind of all right. Let me ask you this question before I give my review.
It has everything Nate likes in a movie. Animals getting murdered, babies getting stabbed.
Was not. It was a fetus.
Jesus.
It was a fetus.
So you're fine with it.
Nate, in this state, it's a baby.
I'm just saying, it's
in
a
this
fetus.
state, it's a baby.
It's a little different. No, but did you like Mandy better than this? I'm assuming yes, right?
I don't know yet.
You asking him?
This had a Mandy-esque quality in that it was the end got insane and batshit crazy. It was slow to start.
I will say I did enjoy Mandy over this.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
I think Mandy might be a little bit better.
I wouldn't say maybe not by, it wouldn't be like leaps and bounds over. Yeah. It's probably close.
This is kind of in the same range as me. So I think that the filmmaking in this, like the cinematography, I think the sound design was great. Dan Stevens, I think, carried the movie and was pretty great. Michael Sheen was good too.
Yeah.
I think the acting was better than Mandy. Just because Mandy was more about the ridiculousness. And
I was about to say, what do you mean?
No offense to Nick Cage, who was also great, but not as good as Dan Stevens. I mean, it's not even.
I think he's definitely upset about.
I'm okay.
Friend of the show, Nick Cage.
But no, I put it in the same ballpark. So I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. Three-eyed ravens.
Okay. I think you're gonna be surprised, Nate.
Oh.
You assume so much about me.
Yeah. Your gender, other things.
Yeah.
I assume a lot.
You do assume a lot. Yeah. So actually, I am giving this one 6 out of 10 fingers.
Wow. Oh, because he lost 4? That's actually pretty spot on.
Thank you.
Or how many gallons of blood he lost?
Yeah. Now, all my criticisms aside, because that's kind of, we could all talk about all the great stuff we liked about it.
This is a twist at the end here.
Yeah, I know, right? There again, my main criticism with this movie is that it's so, you said it best, I think. It's so dense. There's so much in this film. And it's not that it all has a purpose. It all makes sense. I get why they do it. I think some different decisions would have made it a lot cleaner and tighter. Yeah. And that's really my biggest criticism. But the cinematography is gorgeous. I mean, that opening shot, that opening shot. Yeah. I mean, it's like a Welsh tourism board.
Exactly. Yeah.
The acting is great. The gore is, I mean, if you're into gore and I mean, it's grindhousey without being so over the top.
It's realistic.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's crazy.
The sound aside, if you like violins stabbing your ears, you will get this in spades in this movie. It is very violin string-esque.
Yeah.
String crazy. It was a well-executed movie from that perspective.
Yeah.
It's I probably give it a lower score because to me it is very Wicker Man meets Silent Hill meets The Witch. I think this movie I gave it a 6. I started at a 5 and then I've moved myself up to a 6.
Okay.
This movie makes me appreciate The Witch more.
Oh, yeah.
Because The Witch does the exact sort of same tone and that same sort of dread and still same, like very realistic, very bloody, like holy shit. But it cuts out all the fringe shit. It's such a focused story.
I think you like Witch better because the goat is the one doing the violence.
Also fair.
Rather than getting the violence happen to it.
It's fair. Still didn't like the kid dying, the baby dying.
If the action or the tension in this, if our listeners are watch this and check this out, go see Raid and Raid 2.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
some of the best action movies that have ever been made.
Yeah, I think
so this is a different twist.
Yeah,
for movies.
And I think that's it. In a horror movie, to me, In a horror movie, the best ones let the tension build over time slowly. Hereditary does this beautifully. It builds and builds, and it's very uncomfortable, and it's long. It's these long draws of tension. Yeah. This is just, there's so much, and it's going so fast that nothing gets to sit. Nothing really gets to build.
Once the Quinn guy murders his daughter, it is not
even before that. Like even when he's in like the viscera scene is the first time where you're like, oh fuck, but it happens so fast and it's over, and then it just there needs to be some time for it to breathe, for the mystery to really happen. There's too many things happening.
All right, you convinced me. I'm dropping to a 6.
Yeah,
you convinced me.
Wow.
I'm dropping to a 6.
I got you there, huh?
You got God.
It's very early Game of Thrones. There's so many threads, and you're just like, there's just so much. Like, I need to focus. So that's my only. But again, I think for a horror fan, it is.
You gotta watch this.
It is worth the watch.
You gotta watch this. Yeah.
I don't know if I say it's like good in like it's a like I don't know if there's something I'm gonna go back and watch on a, but you should definitely experience it once.
Definitely, I 100% agree.
Yeah, Lisa,
take everything you and Nate just said and flip it around.
Okay.
Yeah. So 100 out of
10 out of 10 fingers.
So 10 out of 6. What?
No.
40 sliced off fingers.
Yeah, I never changed my score either. So this is
how many neck slices are you giving this movie?
Yeah.
This is a difficult one because
on the one hand, I can't give negative.
So you
numbers.
hated it. You hated it.
Yes, but do I hate it as much as I hate Tourist Trap? Do I hate it as much as I hate Thanksgiving?
This is why this is amazing.
Do I hate it as much as I hate what's the Frosty one we did?
Jack Frost.
Yeah. Do I, the Omen every day looks better and better, Nate, honestly.
My life goal is complete. Yes.
We've seen so many horrible movies.
Oh.
So what are the positives? What are the positives? So a lot
Dan Stevens.
Yeah, okay. How many points is Dan Stevens worth? 1 point? 3 points. Oh,
we're already at a 3. Well, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many points is the cinematography?
Nothing else.
Sound.
Oh. It's a 3 out of 10.
Okay. 3 out of 10 what? Dan Stevens is?
Yes.
3 out of 10 beasts.
So for the Dan Stevens completionist, this is the movie you need to see. Otherwise, skip it. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. A
lot of Downton Abbey people are going to be coming to this movie like, it's in the UK. It's got Dan Stevens as the lead. I love this.
Oh. When does Emma Watson show up?
When does Emma? They're like, okay, the party scene starts.
Why would he leave the castle?
There's a little bit of singing in the party, right? Like
don't knock her up, Chip. You're not ready to be a dad yet. Yeah, that's fair.
What if the cults thing would have been like, be our guest, like come to our island, we'll host you.
For all seriousness, though. Yeah, are you about to say the same thing I'm about to say?
I don't know. Maybe. See what you're gonna say.
If there had been a scene when they first got there, like the Bonjour, like when they were they were just all singing, that probably would have bumped me up a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at this ransom that I've brought here with me.
Yeah,
I've got to go and rescue my sister.
Instantly better.
I don't know anything about Beauty and the Beast.
That's not what I was going to say.
Yikes.
It's another sequel idea. What if her, when the island starts to blossom, the last thing you see is a big red rose that balloons. And that's the rose that the witch gives to the beast that turns him into the beast. The enchanted rose.
That ties together perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah.
What if the goddess lady was the old lady?
Yeah. Or that was her sister. It was kind of like a Wizard of Oz thing.
That was him turning into the beast.
So are we talking about is this the Beastly Cinematic Universe? What's this called?
The Beastly
Cinematic Universe.
Christ. I think on that.
So 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
Mainly because I'm kind of culted out lately.
Yeah.
You're culted out.
I feel like everything we've watched lately has had a cult.
To be fair, it'll be interesting when we look back at like.
We got Halloween coming up.
Well, when we have Halloween next week.
I'm looking forward to that.
When we do the end of the year, it would be interesting to see how many cult movies came out, because I think that's a sign of just the times we're in. I think I'm starting to think that this whole last several years, particularly with Trump, particularly with politics in America, cult has been a very prominent theme.
Yeah.
That kind of hive mind thinking. Yeah. I'm very curious if when we look back at this year and when we look back at these last few years, if that's just because that's what's in the mainstream consciousness right now.
Just recently we did Mandy. Before that we did that one with the two brothers. Mm-hmm. What was that one?
Endless.
Not that cults or anything new, but yeah, I mean, it's not like slashers.
No, but I feel like we've been watching them a lot lately.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But we got the slasher coming up on Thursday. So please make sure you need to be going out to see Halloween this weekend when it comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
we'll be there. Yeah. We'll be tweeting that out.
We would live tweet it, but we'd probably get kicked out of the theater.
Yeah.
The only shape that's not allowed is the shape of your phone. It has to be hidden. But yeah,
all right.
Yeah, but if you want to check us out, we'll be definitely doing some more stuff for the Halloween movie. And then you can catch all of that at TX Pod Massacre, our Instagram, our website, TexasPodcastMassacre.com. Check us out and leave any comments or reviews on iTunes or anything like that. We really appreciate it. If you want to contact us, tell us how great our episodes are or how terrible we are. Either way, we don't care. Email us at TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com and catch us on all your podcast platforms.
That's right. Well, from all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in, and just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Good night.